All right, so let's go ahead and set the scene a bit with your characters and where they are and what they've done. I don't want to reveal the secrets of what lynch you in jail. So I'm going to more broadly describe that each of you found yourself in, actually here, even better, get some appropriate music. Each of you found yourself in a cell in London for one reason or another, transported there for your misdeeds, and were approached with a chance at salvation. The man who approached you was obviously a learned man, one who perhaps you had heard of, perhaps not, someone who introduced himself as one of Queen Elizabeth's closest advisors, a man named John Dee. He looked incredibly out of place amongst the cells beneath the streets of London. And he offered you, again, a bit of salvation, if not for your immortal soul, at least amongst your peers and people who live on the streets in the countryside beyond, that you might actually make something of your pathetic lives as they've been lived thus far. He told you all about this organization, this agency that he had formed with the blessing of the Queen to root out supernatural threats to her order, supernatural threats that were angelic, demonic, and fey in nature. And should you agree to do this task, you would be allowed to go back to your ordinary lives, pardoned for what you have done, at least in the eyes of the Queen for now, but to be called upon into service whenever the need arose. And seeing that such an agreement would be much preferred to the hangman's noose, or if any of you come from a wealthy background, a public beheading, you decided to take this Mr. John Dee up on his offer. He I've lost the adventure here. Let's see here. So you were soon after released, given your meager possessions back, as well as an object, a amulet made of hardened black wax, apparently sanctified, carved with an incredibly intricate seal. And although it is made of wax, it seems strangely impervious to the things which you would ordinarily expect wax to be susceptible to. doesn't seem to scratch or fade or melt or misshape in any way in the heat. It seems there's something strange about it. And it seems, speaking of heat, it seems to contain some sort of internal heat, holding it even on the coldest night. Walking through the streets of London, it feels warm in your hands. And the symbol is not here, but it's in the, I will post an image of this symbol here.
When you post these, Bob, where are they appearing? Because I can't see things you're posting.
Should click on your chat.
Yeah.
Chat?
Down below in your Zoom, there's a little chat icon. If you click it, it'll open up a chat box, and he's been posting things in it.
Just a bit, yeah.
Chat too. I see it now. Okay, thanks.
It's a complicated symbol on it that if you are a learned practitioner of witchcraft and magic, you can tell goes back to ancient times. Enochian, specifically, the language of the angels. And he tells you that this seal, this amulet, will give you certain powers that will be useful when you are commissioned by the agency to do a task. First, it will allow you to speak and understand all languages. It says, however, the way that you will understand those languages will be without inflection. So it makes it difficult to grasp the natural emotional context that you might get from a language that is known personally. And it also will allow you to communicate with him from a distance. Not necessarily full sentences, words, or monologues, but small bits of information, or even just a general communication of, yes, I'm here, I'm still alive, that type of thing. He also teaches you each the hieroglyphic monad. It's an arcane use of hand symbols, hand signatures, which allows you to better sort of channel angelic magic. By staring monocularly through the ringed forefinger and thumb with digits extended, steadied atop an upturned sign of the horns. So that looks like this.
Thankfully, it's not overly complex and requires both hands. Oh, wait.
It's no guarantee that this will give you any sort of additional powers, but there may be times when the hieroglyphic monad can be useful as a way to access the supernatural when all else fails. So you all go about your days, back to your ordinary life, and days and weeks even pass. And it doesn't really seem as though there is, maybe that was all just a bad dream. Maybe you're free And maybe you'll never be called into service. One of each of you at your work or leisure at some point receive a messenger in the night. This is no ordinary messenger. The man introduces himself as Mr. Garland. He is in every way totally and completely innocuous in his appearance, completely average, nothing, no distinguishing features, nothing particularly strange about his clothing. The strangest thing about him is that he appears to be a ghost, in fact. You kind of rub at your eyes or draw a weapon or maybe skitter to the corner, depending on your mentality, at the appearance of this ghostly figure. When he informs you, he says, "I have been sent by John Dee. You will not be able to respond to my words, but know that I am his messenger. As the sun rises tomorrow, head to the road north of London, for you have been called into service of the Queen as an agent of Dee." Says, "Lord Henry Denny, the leaseholder of Waltham Manor, has sent word that some monstrous threat has been harrowing travelers passing through Waltham Forest. Mr. John Dee sends you and 2 other agents to the market town of Waltham Abbey. As one of the favored hunting grounds of the Queen, you must resolve this matter at haste. The journey will take you 2 days on foot. Midway along your journey, at a now defunct nunnery, you will find a place where you might rest. It is a stone house, a place with magical rituals that disallow those who are not of your order within. There are meager supplies which you can use to eat and rest along your journey. You see the image sort of flutters and dissipates without any chance to respond. So you're all able to gather up all of your things and do what is necessary, pack your gear. Why don't we go through that now? Maybe we can even... all right, so the following morning, do all of you sort of go to the appointed place as the sun is rising?
Yes, I will. Yeah.
Yeah.
Joyce would have headed out earlier to arrive before the others, to see them approach, to size them up.
What about Emma Rose?
Emma probably arrives through an unexpected path through some of the shrubbery, where she seems to know her natural history and appears with her lank, black, oily hair. Is it raining? Look, is it misty or what? Or the
That's a
weather?
good question, and I will roll randomly to decide. It is, in fact, rainy. And so the rain is coming down, making the track that leads out of the city muddy. And you look over, because there are some boats that are also going up the river, a way of passage that you might be able to take in traveling to the Abbey. But unfortunately, that takes money that you don't have. And so Waltham Abbey will unfortunately have to be a walk, and a walk along a muddy, fairly rutted track. Yes, it's misty, it's raining. You're there at sunrise, but there's really nothing more than just a brightness on the horizon. And why don't we go ahead and describe now? Why don't we'll start with you, Nick. Describe Henry Cole, since you're the one who's not being particularly sneaky heading into the space.
Yeah, I'm just walking straight down the road, straight path. He's a big guy, a little over 6 foot. He's probably in his 30s, so he's middle aged, I imagine. He's heavy built with a gut. He has heavy wool pants, clean, but they are stained from work. Heavy cotton shirt, gray. It's also stained. He's got well-worn leather boots, and he's got his work gloves tucked into his belt. And I wouldn't think he's wearing his apron, but he does. He has a toolkit with him, and he has his apron in there. He has a thin beard, but nothing too thick because it'll catch fire. So that's about it. His hands are beefy, and you can tell they've been cut and rehealed, and he has burns here and there on his face and on his forearms. And he doesn't particularly care about the weather. He seems to be enjoying it. He has a sad look upon his face. Let me see if it he looks sad or upset, but he could be neither, just the way he looks.
All right, that sounds great. Now, Chris, why don't you describe Emma Rose, who would be the second to make her presence known?
Okay. So, obviously, quite apparently very young, maybe in her late teenage years. She's of medium height, but quite frail, thin build, with quite like raven lank long hair. It's like an oily colour in the moonlight a bit. She's got very pale, milky skin, very cruel looking thin lips, bright blue eyes. She wears a dull brown, probably tan dress of some kind, which is appropriate to the women that will move about in the period. It's functional. Probably has like an underdress pantaloon thing. She wears about her a simple silver locket. She has a bonnet on her head, probably to protect her from the rain a bit, which is now very, crinkled and wrecked. Her eyes look about keenly in the morning mist.
What about Joyce Shaw, who has now seen these other two?
Joyce approaches, but not, it kind of just seems like she's headed to a different destination until she arrives next to you. She is average in every way. She's average height, average build. She's not pretty. She's not ugly. She could be in her late 20s, but has seen a lot of wear in her years, making her seem like the just average middle-aged woman of the time. Her clothing is sort of a dark, muddy gray tone that just kind of blends into the dreary London weather and the surrounding environment. She's quiet, so it could be very easy for someone to forget she's there. But there's also this feeling of sort of decay about her that could creep up at any moment as she fades into and out of the background.
There doesn't seem to be anybody else leaving out of the town just now, as you sort of stand adjacent to each other. in the rains. John, or the Mr. Garland apparition told you that you're to expect 2 other agents.
Switched my name on my profile, but it's Joyce Shaw.
Yeah, you can change your profile name, and I could do it for you, Chris, if that would be easier for you.
Yeah, sorry, I was muted. Yeah, go ahead. Change my name. There's no problem. Okay, okay. Forget them on. That's actually quite good. Zoomies, really. It's working better than Discord.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
I like it.
Fucking hell.
Do you ever play on Discord? I mean, on Zoom at all, Nick?
It's the first time.
Okay. Yeah, I like it too. I think it's good. All right. So the 3 of you sort of are standing adjacent and nearby each other. Are any of you going to speak to each other at all as the rain is just plopping down onto your heads?
I suppose I put my hands on my hips and look at the morning sun trying to peek over. There's probably some sheep up on the horizon, maybe. I don't know. I look at them. How far away are they? Like, are we like within 20 foot of each other, say?
Yeah, so there's there's trees and bushes and stuff adjacent to the road, and you can see the city. You kind of crossed over a bridge from London, and you can see the smoke rising from the various chimneys in London, the early morning cook fires and such. You kind of still
I say out loud. Sorry, go on.
No, I was going to say you still smell the bit of the city refuse stench, just just in the distance, but you're kind of now more into into nature, so kind of getting a little bit of fresh air, although you're being drenched by the rain.
I smile at them, revealing my surprisingly good teeth for my age, really, I suppose. And I say, oh, let me guess. Are the pilgrims on the way to the Abbey? Maybe? Look at them both.
I'm no pilgrim.
I speak, of course, in, well, not to be too obvious, for one does not know who one might meet on the path.
It doesn't matter where we're headed, just that we're headed together, I assume.
Yes. Mr. Garland maybe sent you here?
Yes.
Ah, yes. Yes. Mm.
I'm Henry Cowl, blacksmith by trade, and I extend my hand.
Okay, I offer my quite small, dainty hand and shake it friendly enough, but seem a bit perturbed by somebody wanting to shake my hand a bit, actually.
I give it a good squeeze.
Okay, yeah, your hands are probably like big, massive
Yeah.
shovels compared to my little tiny hands. I notice like your grip, and I think, gosh, that could crush somebody's neck. I retreat my hand gently.
Joyce just looks at everybody, and it's very obvious she will not be extending a hand in greeting.
The weather fares not well for our travel. Maybe we should make for the stone hut as soon as possible.
Well, that's the first thing we can agree on. Perhaps there will be more.
I just want to get this over with. So let's go.
Mm.
All right, so you begin the miserable trek through the mud and rain.
I do
Storm.
offer to carry any. I could carry anything that's hampering you if you wish.
How polite.
That's quite. Thank you. I'm well.
It's a shame we could not purloin some small cart or something from somewhere to have some shelter. But on this rutted, wet track, in the small canals we pass, who knows? Maybe there will be donkey bridges to forward us into the city. How far did you say it was now, Rob? Into the city?
2 days.
Is it a full?
Oh no, to Waltham Abbey, it's basically 2 days. 2 days on foot. Maybe a day and a half by horse.
And we're just exiting the city or entering the city?
You're just exiting the city now. Yeah.
Oh, just exiting. I am glad to have the smell of the city behind me. I do prefer the natural woodlands and copses. I am from Staffordshire, Castle Wood. We have a free common, and we're named in the Domesday Book, nonetheless.
Oh.
Where do you herald from? Are you local?
I don't know how to pronounce it. Carmathian?
Never heard of it.
Let me see here. I'll post it. Carmarthen?
Carmarthen, yeah.
I'm from here and there.
Ah. I smile and nod. Blacksmith, you say you were by trade?
Yes, and you?
Well, I am my trade. I am but a vicar's daughter.
Well, perhaps there's an interesting story for what brought you here. More interesting than some of our stories.
Smile wistfully, but say nothing. Remain tight-lipped. Trudge through the horrible, wet.
All right, let's as you're beginning to travel and you're moving through the mud and rain and everything like that, you find yourself falling into a bit of a quiet trudge through the mud and rain. Occasional thunder in the distance. Fortunately, it doesn't hit you too badly. It doesn't get worse, but let's go ahead and practice, and we'll try our first challenge here. As you're moving through along the path and you're trying to recall what you might know and heard of Waltham Abbey. What you might know. So this will be an intellectual challenge.
By the way, it is a mega abbey in real life.
Waltham I know.
Abbey. It's fucking mad famous in England, that is. Waltham Abbey.
Yeah, exactly. This is a real thing. This is one of the things I love about this game. So yes, you can make an intellectual challenge, and you can also make any arguments that you might be able to for use of any of your particular skills to give yourself a step up.
Yeah. Right, and I use my natural history to predict weather, flow of water, movement across terrain, where we might not bump into wolves and shit. And we should move uphill over here. The water will flow that way up. We'll cut half a league off a path, but we'll have to leave the copse of the wood and travel through by across there. And look, actually, yonder, can you see it? Good man. I point from like a vantage point that I've rushed up to, and try to use my natural history to help out in any way to move.
Yeah, I think that's good. So if you're trying to cut down on the time, which is what the challenge that you're trying to make, Then go ahead and make an intellectual challenge, and I'll give you a step up for your natural history.
Right. So I would do 6, but it steps up to 8. So how do I roll now on Zoom?
Just use real dice.
Oh, fuck, where are my real dice? He says now I'm going to roll them.
Or you can roll it in Discord if you have Discord open, and you can just tell me what you get.
Yay, I found my dice. Yeah. So, yeah.
I trust you all. If you cheat in this game, then that's on you. You cheat at RPGs, you have bigger problems than I'm concerned about.
Something's wrong with you.
What is wrong with you? Does it even... you can't even see it with a filter. It's a 6.
Okay.
It might magically appear in a second.
Yeah, you're doing
It's
okay.
A 6.
I can kind of see a weird blurb. Yeah, so you're guiding the group through shortcuts essentially. And it's even helping a little bit with the rain. You're getting a little bit more tree cover. You're not being quite as pelted by the rain. So Emma does provide you with a certain level of comfort. But all 3 of you can make an intellectual challenge as well to see what you know about Waltham Abbey and those details. So go ahead and do that, and if you have a skill that relates, then you can make an argument for why that would relate.
I have a skill that would relate to it.
That's fine.
I rolled a 3.
That's good enough.
I rolled
6.
I rolled a 1.
Okay,
You want to roll below or above?
You want to roll anything but a 1 or a 2.
Oh.
Oh, nice start, Greg.
Fudge.
And this is for the Waltham Abbey bit. Okay, so
yeah.
An 8.
Okay.
So I should have rolled a D6. Never mind. Anyway, yeah, I'd have failed.
Oh, did you roll a D6?
I rolled a D8, but I've only got intellectual 6.
Well, go ahead and roll a D6 then.
Okay, hang on. Get my other dice. There's a D6. Okay. Oh, the 6. A 6.
Okay. So, Henry, you know a little bit. You're aware that Waltham Abbey, when King Henry VIII left the Catholic Church, Waltham Abbey was dissolved, and because it was a Catholic abbey. Before then, it was a really important pilgrimage site. And now it's mostly just even though it's still a relatively bustling city, it's really just an afterthought kind of on the road between London and Cambridge. However, Emma, you recall many details of it. Not only do you know that, but the Denny family is, and you're on your way, or Lord Henry Denny was the one who sent word of the monstrous threat to John Dee. His father, Sir Anthony Denny, was really pretty important to Henry VIII. He was groom of the stool. And Sir Anthony's wife, Joan Champernowne, was Princess Elizabeth's governess. And so when the dissolution of the Catholic Church happened, essentially the town was granted to Sir Anthony Denny, who handed it down to his son Henry, who's currently sort of in charge of the town. But you also know that previously the The reason why people made the pilgrimage to the Abbey was that they had a relic
Yeah.
called the Black Crucifix. And the Abbey had been consecrated, 500 years ago by Toby the Proud, and made the resting place of the Black Crucifix. It was collected up and removed from the site when Catholicism was essentially made illegal.
Yeah.
Did you say groom of the stool?
I know, yeah.
I did, yes. Do you know what that is?
He carries around the commode.
Yep. He basically cleans the king's
Poop.
and stuff, but it's actually considered a really high position because of the access that it,
Yeah.
Yeah. Imagine that in your chambers. Every time you wanted to use the toilet, there's a man
Oh, thank you.
just waiting in a room just to clean your under carriage. Right. And here's us with a ball of twine between us, I say.
It's pretty funny here. I'll show you a picture of something that I think you'll get a kick out of.
Times have never been so good. The serfs can leave the land, and women can nearly almost read a book without being burnt.
Nearly. Yeah.
I say, and raise an eyebrow and smile at the blacksmith. And I'm surprised you've been allowed to leave your village, such an important blacksmith. I've known blacksmiths have their hamstrings slashed for want of need of the work of the blacksmith every day. Even Sunday he has to return in some villages after church.
Well, I really haven't practiced my craft in a while. I've been disposed for the past few. Has it been years since we've been in prison, or days?
It's been a couple weeks.
Oh.
Did you post something there, Bob?
I did.
Why don't I see anything? I see name Joyce Shaw, then I don't see anything else.
It's right above the name Joyce Shaw. You have to click on it.
Henry Cowl, Waltham, name Joyce Shaw.
Better looking toilet than mine.
All right, so you spend the day traveling, and the rain does slow a bit as the day goes on.
Is there a way to turn up the volume on your music?
Mm-hmm.
Or are you doing it, or can I turn it up?
Only I can do it.
Okay.
How's that for everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And I will do this here. Okay, so you travel the day through, and let me see if I can get this for you. I'm going to try to send this directly to you, Chris, and see if this works.
Yeah, because there's something wrong. I'm missing all the fucking links and everything.
It's not really important, to be honest with you. This is pretty much... Oh, yeah, weird. I can't send you images, so you cannot get images. I don't know why that is, but you can't get images.
Oh.
It's fine. I'll put up anything that's important in the Discord later, but none of this is really critically important. Okay, so you travel through the day, and as you're moving along and the light begins to fade, and your day is coming to an end, and it's getting very cold, you start to wonder where the stone house might be. And off to the side of the road, you can see the path sort of branches off into an overgrown side road, you might say, that leads up to a overgrown series of buildings atop a hill, which you presume, based on the distance traveled and such, that you must be at the now defunct nunnery. The Cheston nunnery, specifically.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Strange places, nunneries, I say.
Certainly not for all of us.
No, indeed. I laugh. Imagine it, Joyce. Wearing the same thing all every day, doing going in and out, and some other woman telling us what to do all the while. Nonsense.
So you two didn't get the call, I see.
Oh, no. Some of us apparently are not good enough for the call. Or we're better in different ways.
You might be too good.
Glad to think of the past. My father, being a Protestant vicar, would never have sent me to a Catholic nunnery, but should he have, I would have run away anyway, I think. No, instead he sent me somewhere else.
Well, at least you think you would have run away. I suspect some of these women were a bit more sly than perhaps we give them credit for, and could have easily kept you there.
Yes. Some of these mother superiors and stuff, they had access to reading and the knowledge of different chapters before them. And yes, many of them were about many things, not other than nunnery, I say.
So you make your way up to the top of the hill and into the area of Cheston Nunnery. And there is a, the buildings are obviously abandoned. Several of the doors just hang open, and there's natural growth has overtaken most everything. Except at one particular place, you can see that the kind of at the edge of the wood, there is one smaller building that has been, it looks like it's been cleaned up a bit around it. It doesn't look ostentatious or anything along those lines, but it's certainly a bit, it's obviously been somewhat maintained. However, there is you notice that the door, actually make a physical challenge. Everybody make a physical challenge.
Would my mechanics help in any way?
No.
Okay.
Damn it. Got a 2.
I got an 8.
Ooh.
Well, rub it in.
Okay, so look, I roll. I got a 3.
That's fine. Only a 1 or 2 fails.
I can do things.
Well, you could play this whole game based on it, using a D12 mathematically. You could break it down into fractions, so a D12 becomes a D6, a D4, a D8.
What about the D10?
Oh yeah, you're right. You can't do the D10. Yeah. Okay.
So Henry, you and Emma both notice that door, which is ajar, has the faint outline of an like a smeared, dried, old handprint of blood on the door. Henry, you notice that there is sort of very faintly a tatter. There's a bit of blood on a nearby tree and like a tatter of cloth hanging from a branch there as well. And now you know what? You've got an 8, and also some footprints in the mud.
Seems that someone was injured and perhaps tried to get into this door, or
The door's open.
The door's open.
Mm-hmm.
Do the footprints lead from the door to the?
They lead into the door.
Into the there may be someone injured in here.
With my diagnosis, Rob, could I determine how badly wounded they might be by the nature of the blood stain, or whether it was even their blood? I mean, we're not CSI kind of thing, but I mean, like, is it like a?
I would say just kind of looking at it, like, it's not a good looking. Like, it's probably a grievous injury.
Right, yeah. It's like a proper smally splat hand, not just like a light imprint. It's like fucking loads of blood, like with a handprint across it, like sliding.
Yeah, and now, Joyce, you notice it as they're sort of talking about it and pointing at it.
Would I be able to notice if this mark, because I have deception, would I be able to notice whether or not this was something to distract us, or if it was genuine?
Ooh.
That's interesting. Yeah, make an intellectual challenge, and I'll give you a step.
You're looking around, madly spying other things. Like while we're looking at the door, you're going.
Yeah, I'll give you a step.
We'll
I'll give you a step up on that too. So.
Yeah, we're gonna see what the dice say about that. Come on. 6.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem like it's a. It doesn't seem like it's a deception. It seems like a bloody mess.
Okay. So, and
go ahead. I'm sorry.
I just wondered what time of day it is.
It's like evening. You know, the sun's gone down.
Mm-hmm. Sun's gone down. Okay. How much moonlight is there?
There's not a lot because there's still the rain. You know what though? The clouds are a little bit broken up, so every now and then you're catching just a bit of like moonlight coming through.
Is that tattered cloth common, or is it fine? Is it?
Oh yeah.
Oh, good question.
I'd go over there and retrieve it from the tree limb.
I look for I let him do that, but I look for a light source, or if not, try to be able to make one, maybe to create extra light. Maybe I look around the edge of the doorway for a lamp, or lantern, or a torch, or something.
Nick, roll me a d10.
I got a 7. It's been about 14 years since I've rolled real dice.
It's great. It is great. It is great.
Yep.
Feel the love flow from the dice.
You
Some of us.
the fabric looks common.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Chris, did you say you were doing something?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I didn't want to hug, so I'll just look around for a light source, or if not, I'll try and make one, like a simple one, like breaker. We can't really, because there's a branch, it's all wet in it. Okay, so I look around just like, maybe, because often there's lamps outside of buildings.
Okay, so you see you actually see a lamp hanging there on the door, like right, on a hook right outside the door.
I try and light that up then while he searches around.
Okay, so you get closer to the door. The door is partially open. And as you go to grab the lamp, you can see, within the room, there's you can see the leg. You can't really see the whole body, but you can see a body is laying face down in the room. You can just see its legs,
Someone is fallen, I say. And I'll be careful not to rush in instantly to be ambushed. So that's how I've been done by that before. This girl has. I wait that somebody else might sacrifice themselves before me because I am a bit evil. And I cry out to her, Cowl, who's manly. I go, Cowl, a man is fallen. Look.
I take out my knife and walk over to the door, peer inside.
And I look over at Joyce to see what she's doing, if she's still looking around in the surroundings, that we're not going to be ambushed by some bastard.
Yeah, I'm definitely keeping an eye for any approach, but I feel like I would also be somewhat aware of what Emma is doing, which I have a little bit of respect for.
I'm going to pocket that strip of cloth, by the way.
All right. So you
So I light up the lamp as he comes over, if I can.
Sure, you absolutely can. So within first of all, the light extends within, and you're able to see that it's a sparsely appointed single room building. Within there is a cabinet of sorts, you might say, which is actually open right now. You can see that within there's some blankets. There looks like maybe a crate that has some dry goods in it. There's a barrel sitting next to it with a tap, a couple of tin cups on top. There's a straw bed mattress lying there. But of course, on the floor is a man. He looks to be in his early 40s. He is pale. He's streaked with dried blood. And lying on the ground, and you can see him there now, the light touches him, that his face and upper torso seem to be partially liquefied.
His what? His face?
It's partially liquefied.
What parts?
His face and his upper torso.
Whoa.
It appears someone had a terrible day.
Cowl, do not go too close. It could be an illness of some kind. Step back. And I'll put
Don't worry, I'm not getting any closer.
Good man.
But we do have to clean him out if we want a dry place to sleep tonight.
We'll drag him out in a moment. Let me just have a quick look. I might have read about this in one of my books, and I've got diagnosis.
Let me hold the lamp for you.
So I crouch down, but not too, and I pull my bonnet down over my face, like a mask, and peer closely. That's him.
Okay. Peer closely at him. Yeah, go ahead, and this will be an intellectual challenge, and I'll give you a step up. No, you know what? I'm going to give you you can choose between supernatural or intellectual, and I believe your supernatural is better. So,
yeah,
it better not be the plague.
God damn it! It was a fast adventure. We're all dead.
3.
That's good enough.
Dice cam.
So you see that looking at the body, you can see that it's a little bit the body is a bit bloated, and it has obviously a horrid stench, but it's not just the normal stench of death. It almost seems as though maybe it's gone bad, like meat gone bad or poisonous of some sort, not like not like a dead body, but like rotten meat kind of smell to it. And then you also notice that the where the parts of it are melted, it almost seems like it's like an acid burn.
Ooh.
Some sort.
Right. Okay. I have seen sometimes things that may burn like this that are natural substances, but limes and things it's hard to describe. But it has been dead some time. Maybe I think to myself. I say out loud. It is maybe not best to sleep in the presence of such a dead body, and it is hard to identify who it might be. Can we see who it might have been? It was just that it's a man.
Yeah, the face is just too.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, my last and remaining ability is purification. So I think we should drag the
So
body.
really quickly here, I think I need to have you make an unraveling check.
Go on then. Seeing a melted head man.
When you confront inhuman horror or the supernatural, roll your unraveling.
Fair crack.
And I think all three of you should make an unraveling check. So all of you have a D8 in unraveling. So all three of you roll your D8 and let me know if you.
I got a 3.
That's good enough.
I get a 6.
Also good enough.
First success of the night.
Yeah.
What about you, Chris?
Six.
Okay. So you can feel the bile rising in your throats, but you push it down and you don't shame yourself in front of your new companions. But it is a horrid sight to see before you. Continue on.
While they're inspecting this body, Joyce is going to creep around the room and look for any objects that could be important, or not just important to what we're doing here, but maybe just important to Joyce and her own pockets.
Okay. Roll a d6.
Emma, check his person. There might be an item that can identify him.
Yeah, I will.
5.
All right. So you notice strange tracks in the dirt on the floor of the house. Seems to be heavy bird tracks. But,
Heavy bird? Like
yeah.
monster chicken?
Oh no.
Kind of.
Particularly frightened of birds, actually, in real life.
But
it's cool.
But you also notice that there were also tracks that almost look like the hooves of like a hog, like a small hog. It's a very bizarre pattern. It's very confusing when you're looking at it.
Okay. Are there any objects that would be of interest for quick hands?
Chattels and cattles and goods, Joyce.
No, that's what you notice. Yeah, nothing of any particular interest, not on the body. Emma, did Did you go ahead and check the body
Um,
for identifying?
yes, I was particularly interested in checking him in any way that might reveal him. Has he got a black wax thing, or
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Is that like you notice hanging from around his neck is a medallion that matches the ones that you and your companions hold.
retrieve that then, in case that falls into the wrong hands.
He has a few coins on him.
Mhm. I put the stuff that I find. I don't keep it like snatching it, like looting. I like take it off him and put it for the players to see, but like make sure that it's not going to be like fucking just left on him.
So you also see a letter authorizing a man named Jeffrey Luke to temporarily leave his duties as a caretaker for one Ralph Northwood to attend to matters of urgency to the kingdom.
So obviously he was an agent of the two agents sent to us. One of the two maybe that was supposed to be helping us. Or was that us two?
Draw your own conclusions.
Maybe we should try something with the D. Say, pushed actually. And I'll try the hand signal thing. And look through it. That's his body and around the room.
Make a supernatural challenge.
Okay. You watch me mash this up now. Yes, I knew that was going to happen. A 1. So I'm going to use my fortune.
Oh, okay.
Roll again. A 2.
That is too funny.
Yeah. That's just the nature of the beast.
All right, so you're looking around and you've got the symbols up on your eyes, and you're looking around, and then you hear this like squishing sound under your boot or your shoe or whatever. And some crunching.
Oh.
And you kind of like stop.
Can everyone hear this?
Yeah, everybody hears it. You hear like a and it's a crunching sound.
From outside, obviously. I know. I shine the lamp round.
Right. It looks like you stepped in some sort of slimy, foul scat, riddled with small bones. And now that you've stepped in it, you've sort of ignited the smell. And it smells like a bitter fruit.
It is between my toes. And I'll step back.
Okay, well, since you said it was between your toes, you have to make a physical challenge.
Yeah. Oh, where's my D4 gone?
Has anyone seen that kind of scat before?
Would my street smarts be something I could use here?
Oh, there he is.
Yes, I like that.
Okay.
Make an intellectual challenge, and I'll give you a step up.
Okay.
What, a physical challenge?
Yeah, your physical challenge.
I got a 3.
Failed? Is it failed? 1?
You roll a 1. Ooh.
Yeah, 1.
All right, so you feel it on your toes, and you can feel this just like burning sensation, and you can see some of your toes start melting away.
Oh shit!
Good Lord!
and like you feel like these tendrils of heat climbing up through the nerves of your body, and you start to find yourself becoming confused and disoriented, and all of you see Emma fall to the ground and go into a seizure.
Get her to the rain. Well, can I identify this? Do I know what this is then?
You succeeded in your thing.
Mm-hmm.
You're not really certain. You've never seen a scat like this before, but you're certain that it is toxic.
Okay.
I'm
Well, let's get her to the
I'm
rain.
gonna put on my heavy gloves and get her to the. There's a river close by, right, or stream?
Yeah, there's a river relatively close by.
Yeah, I'm gonna get her feet in there, and with that cloth that I found off the guy, I'm gonna start trying to get it off of her feet.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, using the cloth and you're wearing gloves, you're able to get the toxin off. The seizure eventually subsides. The rain sort of washing the foam from the young Emma Rose's mouth. Roll a let's take a chance on this. So roll a d6. And you want to roll a 4, 5, or 6.
Take a chance, take a chance, take a chance.
Me or him?
This would be for Emma.
Oh, I thought I was unconscious. Okay. D6.
You are. This is for how many if you're going to lose teeth, lose toes.
Okay. D6. A 6.
Just need enough for balance.
A 6. Okay. So your toes are disfigured, but you don't actually lose any toes.
Okay. As I awaken with a start in pain and go and cry out madly, and then I go and then
you did notice that you took a you got that you took a hit, right?
No, I write that down.
Yeah, you took a hit.
And what I do is, go on.
When she starts screaming, I will definitely be on high alert.
I'm down, Emma. It's okay.
I gain my
You'll
composure.
have all your toes.
And I remove from a pocket something that you've never seen, and it's like a small, weird-looking, fucking little devilish wooden figure. And I clasp it to my heart, and I go, and I start like saying something in Latin, and I cast like a mad purification on my foot, and like I say it in like a really mad hushed breath, like I am actually fucking chanting something at myself, and like I push myself back.
Do you have a purification favor?
I've got diagnosis, natural history, and purification. Yeah.
Oh, it's your skill, your ability of purification.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so yeah, make a I'm gonna call this a supernatural, and I'll give you a step up on it.
Oh, so it's a D10.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. A 9.
Wonderful. Yeah, you clean like you call upon your faith, your connection to that object in your hands, and your knowledge of healing, and you are certain that your wounds have been cleaned and purified so that you won't catch any sort of diseases or other ailments because of the wound that you now have that makes your foot look like a disgusting mess.
Indeed. You know, curly backwards facing toes might be one thing, but mad blood poisoning and death a few days later is another, isn't it? So I thank Henry and Joyce and go, let me extend the blessing to yourself and to the building and see if we can take another closer look.
Well, just compose yourself and I will remove the body and the rest of the scat out of the building.
I'll just flop backwards and say nothing actually for about 10 minutes. I'm not going to say anything now.
I'm going to put on my apron, my gloves. Is the floor made of dirt?
It is.
Is there something flat like an old board laying around that I can just scoop it?
Yeah.
Dirt
There's
and
like,
all.
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
There's old pieces of the nunnery and stuff around, you know. Easy.
I'll bury it if I can.
All right, make a physical challenge just to see how successfully that you do that.
I got a 1.
There's still a pretty terrible stench, and you know there was like bits of like when you were moving it, you know, like some of the body just kind of, you know, squirted out here and there and mixed in with the dirt, and you tracked in mud, and it's like there's no getting it all out of that room now. Just smells, and there's that certain like acidic toxicity in the air. I mean, it probably isn't going to hurt you at this point, but it's not exactly the most appealing place to lay your head for the night.
I don't even think my blessing would clear that room, not without cloves and garlic and other such herbs. Maybe we would even need wolfsbane.
I think we all should be used to it. We've been in prison for weeks.
Well, my
Yes.
prison wasn't that bad. So.
Probably wasn't good. If it was good, you would still be there.
It's a choice
Rather
between
this
sleeping
than
without a
burn.
tent in the rain or sleeping in a...
Right. I think, but there was a period when I did learn some things, though. Can I use my natural history to try and find us how to make a natural shelter, or where we could shelter better? Or use
Well,
the
I mean,
existing
it's
shelter?
pretty obvious you could actually shelter in other places in the nunnery. It just is sort of up to whether or not you feel like you want to invoke those kind of vibes.
Do we know anything about this nunnery? Nunneries often had a mission
We-
or a reason.
We do know that. So, is the stone house the nunnery itself?
The stone house was a piece of the nunnery, and there's something a little bit different. Like I said, it looks like it's been more maintained.
So we're
And
currently
go ahead
in
and,
the stone house.
so looking at the stone house, you see that there's been a mortar added sort of around the lintel of the house, and it's sort of an odd it's got an odd look about it.
Okay, now the stone house was supposed to be something that kept those not of the Dee sanction out. That's what you mentioned in the beginning. So something has desanctified this location, or someone from our organization was here and did this to our comrade. We should be careful, knowing that this is no longer a sacred and safe ground for us. So, since this was a nunnery, wouldn't there be ritualistic incense around?
Well,
The place was basically cleared out, you know, cleaned
Okay.
out.
when
But
Henry
you might be
VIII,
able to look, you know, if you want to root through the place and see if you can find some supplies.
Yes.
it's when Henry VIII moved away from the Catholic Church. The first two things he robbed to death were the abbeys and the monks and the nuns, because they were Catholic. So he robbed all their money and totally bashed up, all the locations, or converted them into other buildings, I say.
And
That's been
basically
happening.
collected up all of the
Mm.
important like relics and like really went around England and were like showing them off.
Well, then I would like to use my burglary skill to root around and see what I can find to help either protect us for the night, to help mask the smell, anything I can that could be remotely useful for us.
All right, do an intellectual challenge then, and I'll give you with a one. I'll bump it up.
4.
Good enough. Okay. Yeah, so you actually find quite a bit of useful material. You do find a couple of, you know, half-burned sticks of incense, lying about in like dirt collected in one of the rooms. You find some, I don't want to call them blankets, they're more like sheets, but you find like a stack of sheets kind of knocked over in a cabinet in one place. What else were you looking for?
I mean, just anything that could be useful for us to also maybe set up.
You find
some sort of
you find a
protections.
crate. You find a crate of candles.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's probably about it.
And we have had a way to start fire, right? There was a lamp already lit. Is that correct?
Well, for the benefit of yes, it was
Okay.
started.
Awesome. Okay. So then I'll bring what I've found to the group and attempt to dry myself off, first of all, with one of the sheets. But also go and let's see. So Henry, you're a burly fellow. Would you mind blocking the door for the evening with some furniture, perhaps this table?
Yes, I can probably. Which way does the door open? From the inside, outside, swings?
It opens into the building.
Is there a way? I got a piece of chain as one of my mundane items. Can I just chain it on the inside?
Sure.
Is there a way? Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
I'll set about doing that. I'll chain the inside up.
Okay, so while you were looking around as well, Joyce, you came across a strange thing amongst the buildings of the nunnery. It's a silken sheath, you might say. Like it's kind of cone shaped. It's about 3 feet long, and it's kind of rough with scales, and it is pricked by a few blood-matted feathers. And it has a faint odor as well. It kind of smells a bit like honey.
All right, well, I will definitely not touch this with my bare hands, having witnessed the horror that occurred to Emma. And when I find that, I will wrap that in one of the sheets to bring it to my companions.
Okay, it's pretty fragile, so you'll kind of have to, it's going to get a little bit dinged up in the move, but that's fine.
Okay. Also, we should examine this evening while we wait for daylight to break. And hopefully none of us to break.
I will grab a couple of candles, put them in my toolkit.
Oh, well found, I say. Sitting up from the ground in the mud.
What was in the barrel?
Water.
Check it out. Okay.
Water. Or probably be wine, actually. Wine.
Tempting, but I do prefer my life over imbibing.
Wine. Normally mead, wine's even better. Might have vinegared though. What's in the nunnery, I say?
Did I notice anything that was interesting while I was looking around?
Not really. Some pieces of broken furniture and, rotting, rotted straw mattresses, couple
Is it like
broken
totally
windows.
derelict? You've got all the roof out and everything in just a few
Yeah,
juts
like
of
plants
buildings.
are like,
If there was anything of
through it.
interest in there, I did not see it.
Well, I mean, you got the things of interest.
Well, yes, but like outside of this crazy object that I've already shown them.
Crazy object, what's that then?
Yeah, you haven't
All right.
shown it to him yet.
Okay, so then I just, sorry, I thought I brought the candles out. So I also bring out the 3-foot strange silken cone with scales. It has bloody matted feathers on it. Hey, check me out, Rob. I'm taking notes.
I know, yeah.
This game,
Cone.
I'm going to tell you, this game notes are important.
What do the
I've been
scales look like? Are
no
they?
names? But that one caught me out. A cone, a silken cone.
It's kind of cone shaped. Henry, the scales look like it's scaly, like lizard scales.
Can I take out? I'm gonna take out. I got tweezers in my toolkit because I make a lot of devices and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna see if I can pull one of those scales off of it.
You do.
Okay.
It's like a lizard scale, only bigger.
How big is the cone?
3 feet long.
3.
It's probably it's maybe like
Coon.
at its widest point, it's probably like 10 centimeters wide for you metric people, or what would that be, like 4 or 5 inches wide at the widest, and then it kind of goes down.
Oh, is it like a sock?
Yeah, I was gonna say it's more pointed than that, and I was gonna say, Emma, if you'd like to make an intellectual natural history roll.
Okay.
This is a passive, so I can call passive skills every now and then, which is when your skill allows you a roll just because you have the skill.
Okay. Does it bump up?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So it goes from 6 to 8, and I got a 6.
Yeah. It looks like a shedding of kind of like a snake.
Yeah.
But it has also sort of lizard-like features.
Ooh. I'll tell the players that.
This is unlike any animal you've ever seen. Like, it's weird, and it has like the feathers, the few bloody matted feathers that are on the cone thing. It looks like they're literally growing out of the cone. Like they were growing out of the cone. So it's like this weird hodgepodge of like multiple animal types.
Okay. So what I do is I take one of the feathers because I'm an occultist, and that could be useful in a spell or later if I want to fucking cripple it with one of my fucking hexes, man. So I take a scale and a feather. Yeah.
Okay.
And I look at it really curiously, and I say like, this is the most unusual thing. Yeah. I've seen nothing like it. In fact, it unnerves me a bit.
Joyce does not seem surprised by this. It's very unusual. So someone saying they've never seen something like that is probably one of the more obvious things someone could have said.
True, yeah. What a discovery, though. Well done.
This is not Sunday news.
Yeah. It seems Dee had use for your eyes then, after all, and your wit.
Sometimes I come in handy.
Well, what is your story then, Joyce? A little bit at least.
Well, perhaps a story to be told on a different day when we are not being possibly hunted by a horrific creature.
Is that what you think? I look around.
To be obvious.
Really?
Yes, of course. Clearly something has attacked our brother in arms. I would certainly not assume that we are safe from it. Unless you would like to assume you're safe from it, then you have at that.
Are there windows in this little building?
Yeah, there's a couple of waxen windows. They look to be in pretty good repair. It's not the kind of thing you can really see through.
I guess we could put sheets over them so the light won't go out. if we're going to make a fire.
Have any of you heard of this Ralph Northwood on the letter? Or a Jeffrey Luke? Maybe we should try to communicate with Dee via the wax symbol and tell him that Jeffrey Luke has moved on. I'll sniffle a bit as if I've got a cold coming now because I've been in the rain quite a while. I'm fucking cold.
Joyce has absolutely no interest in contacting the person who has disrupted her life, although saved her life. So if someone would like to contact that person, they may do so, but she will certainly not volunteer.
Maybe we should go into the Abbey
if
then.
you want.
What'd you say, Henry? Sorry?
Feel free to call him if you want.
Maybe we should relocate to the Abbey, start a small fire and stay there then. And other than that, what is the next? Is there any more reason to stay here? Other than the time and the fact that we're tired and need a bit of a rest. Like we could stay here a while, but then what's the next plan to move on to on the Abbey? We're going to Lord Henry Denny, Abbey Waltham Forest.
So being more street smart, I feel like I might identify if this was the safest location for us, also having looked through the Abbey. Can I tell if this is the safest place where we can fortify ourselves and not go to other parts?
Exactly, Joyce. What was the point in us coming here? This was the place that we were supposed to investigate from, wasn't it? Our little base. Is that why we're here?
Just a resting stop, wasn't it?
Exactly.
It was, but perhaps we should wait until daybreak when we can clearly see what may or may not be coming at us.
I think the stench will keep most intruders away.
I think the fact that whatever killed this person believes they've already done their job, they probably will not come back if we stay here.
Okay, so we could stay here for a while and then find another place to stay. Is that what you're saying? And then carry on.
I believe we should stay until daybreak.
Yeah, so stay until daybreak and then move out.
Perhaps if they knew this person was here, they knew we were going to meet them here. So maybe we can catch them by surprise by staying here and setting up an ambush, maybe.
Perhaps. Well,
That burn looked like strange lime burn. I've seen only a couple of times, but only pictures of something.
I could take those tin cups and make a couple of little traps, that'll wake us up.
Ooh, good idea.
and perhaps we should set up shifts to keep an eye on things while some of us rest.
Did anyone bring any food? I'm famished.
No, but I might be able to catch a fish from the.
There is some
pond
food.
nearby.
There's some food in the cabinet there. So maybe some dried fruit, some like crackers basically, and road tack.
Does it look as though it's been tampered with?
No, it looks like some of it's been eaten.
Yeah. So this was an outpost then. This was a way station for Dee and his men, and it was probably maintained by some bod. And he was given a letter excusing him. Jeffrey Luke was given a letter excusing him of being caretaker. So, yeah, he's obviously come here to meet us to do the next bit, isn't he?
Yeah, perhaps.
I'm thinking.
I'll take a bit of the wine and tack and eat quietly while the intellectuals talk it over.
All right, yeah, you set up your traps as well.
Do I need a roll for that?
Nah, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think that's using some tin cups to make something out of metal is pretty much like a no-brainer.
Your
for
jam.
you. Yeah.
Oh, I've got a ball of twine. That helps you.
Yeah, that would work. Yes.
Okay, You notice that some of the twine's like a different colour, and then I roll it up in my hands as a tinier ball of twine, and I unsnap it, and then I give you the fresh twine to do, and then I wrap. As you're doing that, I'm wrapping twine, going wrapping like a little like that thing that came out of the silk cone, and I'm wrapping it around that little wood figure that I had earlier with my twine, preparing my spell to fucking cripple it if it comes for me.
Is there dry wood in this little
Yeah,
building?
there's a place for a fire as well.
Ice.
Mm-hmm.
A chimney.
Yeah, but you know, the circulation in these places is never good. So, you know, you're able to, it's cold too. So a fire is nice. But you know, it's, are you going to start a fire?
Yes. I want a nice big fire, please.
It's, as many places in this time period, it makes the room, you know, quite smoky. Your eyes are stinging, but you're no longer wet. Joyce, are you using the incense?
Yeah, to mask it so we don't feel sick from.
Yeah.
But try purification again. Now you've got some incense. I didn't realise you were going to have incense. I thought we might
If
need
we're going to do
cloves
purification, then that would have gotten rid of the smell, correct?
Yeah, but it was a particularly bad one, this one. So the fact that you've got incense now might help it. I thought we might need garlic, cloves, different things. Could I try, Rob, or not? Could I try to purify the room?
So I will give you because you have the purification and the incense. I will give you, we'll say a supernatural, and I'd give you a step up, except for that Henry disturbed and mixed in so much that I'll give you the step back down. So it's just a straight supernatural roll.
Yeah, the ice. 5.
Okay. Yeah, you're able to purify the spot, and compared to what it was when you got here, it's a relatively comfortable and dry place to rest the evening. The wine is not particularly good, and the tack is not either, but it does the job after a long day's journey along the muddy, broken roads.
Being fully aware of the fact that we now have a apparently raging fire and incense, I will certainly keep a little bit more of a awareness in our surroundings, because we are very much a brightly lit beacon for anything we could have concealed ourselves from.
My shadow flickers sometimes as I stand up and move about. And like, I just look at it occasionally, like it looks really eerie. Like it might have evil wings occasionally, but it's just the rafters. Like a night court woman. Fucking strange shit. And she like walks about around the room occasionally, like talking and muttering to herself. I look down at my foot. Is it like I've lost a hit? Yeah. Where's my foot? Like, yeah, I want it to be permanently mangled, but not like. How do I heal?
It's fully useful, but it's just going to look scarred and damaged. But yes, poisoned. So essentially, if you get like 6 to 8 hours of rest, you heal a wound. You heal up. You heal your damage.
In that case, then I snuggle up by the fire, like with my back to the wall, with things like just shaking a bit.
Yeah, well, the warmth is inviting. So nothing happens untoward throughout the evening, unless one of you cause it. And you wake up the next morning, and let's check the weather. It is drizzling, but not nearly as bad as it was before. No thunder or anything like that. Just barely raining.
Good time to make hay then.
Yes, rise and shine. Let's be on our way.
Am I a morning person or not? I don't know.
And I will take some hardtack and put it in my toolkit.
Yeah, I'll definitely pocket a bit of the food and
Yeah.
grab an additional candle or two.
All right.
I can even pocket the 10 cups.
That
Good
would be
thinking.
very wise.
Yeah, in fact, I'll grab a couple of candles. That's good thinking. The candles. Oh, I'll take the lamp, actually. Take the lamp. Oh,
All right.
We lost-
So you gather your supplies and you head out. Looking longingly back at the stone house, which kept you warm and dry over the night, as you head back out into the misty rain, and before long find yourself soaked through, even though it's not necessarily coming down too badly. And as you're traveling by the road, you know that you're getting closer and closer to Waltham Abbey, and you'll likely be there by early evening or maybe late afternoon, depending on what kind of timing you make. You notice that the wildlife seems to be acting out of character. Every now and then, you see a stoat or a fox or a badger dash across the track upon which you walk.
I would like to cast Speak with Animals.
Seeking cover. And smaller animals that you spy here and there as you're journeying, like red squirrels and hares, they seem wary, darting for food and then sort of falling back. And the wood itself, it feels sort of subdued, but also frightfully healthy. The undergrowth is thick and heavy with brightly colored barbs, and there are fat, gnarled branches that are just seem to be abundant amongst the trees with fleshy fruits hanging from them, but none of it looks really appealing. It looks like distorted and unhealthy, not edible, likely poisonous.
What, like an unhealthy mutated growth? Like
Yeah.
super, like a, yeah.
Does it
Wow.
look like the animals are running away from any particular direction?
No, they just seem more like skittish and uncomfortable.
Okay.
Okay, so the animals aren't. So I've got natural history. So what makes them unnaturally? And obviously, it's the presence of this fucking thing, isn't it? I think to myself. But what is making the land change itself? It's unusual for the land to change, isn't it? So.
As you're talking to yourself over there, Emma, perhaps Henry and you and I could come together and figure out what we have between us that could be used to fend off anything that may attack us, or let's be honest, absolutely will attack at some point.
And in fact, I was going to just about wrap up here as you approach Waltham Abbey, a community of a couple hundred along the river, and there is so there's river traffic. A community sort of divided between the community of Waltham Abbey, the town, and then the original Abbey, which is about a 10-minute walk away from the edge of town, up into the hill, which you can sort of see upon the hill, the top of the hill, as you begin to progress. And I'm going to ask you now, as we round off this session, to choose your trade craft for next session that you would like to act as your power. and we will end there for the evening. So let's go through and choose the trade craft based on what you've seen thus far and what you think might be useful. And we'll go back over them again really quick.
Yeah,
So access summarize the peoples, groups, and associations known to the agents, such as allowing them to strike off a favor owed, acquire temporary use of some rarity, or sidestep an awkward situation. Conspiracy represents agency and action that questions both the status quo and common sense. The crumbling hold of the church and the diverse power play across the courts of Europe led to the institution of myriad combines and solidarities, or sodalities. Orders focus on obscure biblical tracts, influential personalities, or notions of divine heritage as their central tenet. Kit is essentially an object that would be useful at just the right time. Magic is a piece of magic, maybe an item or an incantation, also potentially useful. System is understanding and being able to utilize the laws, bureaucracy, and sort of loopholes in the way things work with officials. And then finally, vigilance portrays a flair for watchfulness, curiosity, and caution, the gift of a well-timed revelation that either puts an adversary off guard or furnishes a colleague with insights.
I'm happy with 4 of those, but I have particular fondness for particularly Kit, which I think could be useful if we're going to fight some crazy acid spitting owlbear and give it fucking Henry to fucking twat, like to smack the owlbear. Other than that, the 4 I'm happy to go with any of them, and you two can decide. Is access, conspiracy, Kit, or magic.
I like Kit or vigilance.
I feel like Kit would be a good one.
Yeah.
Kit, yeah.
Okay, then we'll say Kit.
Did anyone pocket the money that we found off the dead man?
I think we shared it. There was a few coins, and there's
Okay. Well, as long as we may have
probably
some
3 or 4
coinage
coins. I
to
just
get a
chucked it on the
decent
kept
room.
more.
Yeah,
Well,
you
I'm
have.
thinking more to using spells, but yeah, I'll keep. Can I keep 2 of the coins, the pennies, the lowest value, and then I'll put the rest into the kitty for everybody to buy a room for us to get a room. There'll be a common room we can sleep in, probably.
Yeah, if there was money to be procured, Joyce would have been happy to assist in that endeavor. So yes.
But to answer your question, I have a chain, a knife, and a small-headed mace on my person.
Okay.
Wow.
Well, they said beside the knife you could have this other weapon, so it rolled a small-headed mace. So I put the knife on my list too, and then the chain was another one of the oddball things.
I've got a simple knife, a ball of twine, which is quite a nice ball. It's not just going to quickly run out. I've got a small wooden figurine, which you've seen me manhandling. What was the other piece of item?
Well, I got I got a human tooth. Of course, there's a story behind it, so there's a story
behind it. So great. All right, so we're going to wrap up here, but I'm going to give you one last description here. So you enter in as the sun is descending through the breaking clouds onto the western horizon to Waltham Abbey, the riverside town, and people that are in the streets are moving by in muttered conversation, giving you sort of fearful glances. There's a bit of a bustle that would be present in any market town, but it doesn't feel as though it's done with much joy. There are the adornments and trappings of prosperity, but those seem to be fading now as you move further and further away from the fall of the Abbey and the the Protestant Reformation. And you see near the center of town a number of commercial enterprises, but notably one building calls out to you, an inn, the Green Man Inn.
I like it, I say.
A 2-story building, which
Well, my secret order is the Druid of the Eternal Grove, but I don't say anything. I just look at the Green Man and go,
you can see locals and merchants and travelers alike seem to be entering in, getting ready to get food and drink for the night. And we will leave it off there. And we'll pick up next time from that moment.
RPGs and Baby Makes 3 is a production of Gretchen and Rob sitting on their couch. Email the show at rpgsandbabymakes3@gmail.com. You can find more episodes on Podbean, Spotify, and iTunes, as well as on our free Patreon page at patreon.com/RPGs and Baby Makes 3.